A former Buffalo Trace Council executive pleads guilty on child pornography charges. The Purdue Extension brings us a presentation on last spring's Henryville tornado, and sports with Kurt Guxell. Those stories and much more are coming up next here on 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. We begin tonight with this weather note. The Indiana Department of Homeland Security is advising Hoosiers to be aware of weather conditions throughout this evening, as the potential for severe weather does exist over the next few hours. The National Storm Prediction Center says there is a moderate chance of severe weather across most of Indiana, including throughout our viewing area through the evening. These storms have the potential to produce widespread damaging winds, large hail, dangerous lightning, flash flooding from torrential rainfall, and tornadoes. Folks should remain aware of weather and be ready to take action at home or work if the need arises. Also, the NOAA weather radio located in Evansville is out of service at this time. This is the weather radio frequency that the bulk of DuBois County relies on to receive their weather alerts. DuBois County Emergency Management Director Tammy Miller explains.
DuBois County relies the majority of our weather radios that our office has programmed, and the majority of the best frequency is the NOAA weather radio out of Evansville, the 162.55. However, with it being temporarily out of service, we are strongly encouraging everyone to switch their radios to the Edwardsport frequency. For anyone that brought their weather radios into our office and we set them up, it should be channel 2 in your weather radio. We are really encouraging everyone to change their frequencies in their weather radio so they will not miss any alerts that will be coming through today.
Keep it tuned here for weather later in our broadcast. And now to your news. A former Ireland resident and top leader with the Boy Scouts in southwestern Indiana pled guilty to 6 child pornography counts in federal court in Evansville on Wednesday. 34-year-old Ryan Beeler pleaded guilty to 1 count of possessing child pornography and 5 counts of receiving it. He faces up to 10 years in prison for the possession charge and 5 to 20 years for each receiving charge. His sentencing is scheduled for July 3rd. Last month, U.S. Attorney Joe Hogsett was in Jasper to announce that Beeler had petitioned to enter a guilty plea. Hogsett says that while Beeler was found to possess DVD movies and images depicting sexually explicit conduct by children, no evidence of criminal contact with minors ever surfaced. A search warrant served on Beeler's Ireland home late last year turned up more than 600 sexually explicit images and videos on laptop computers and DVDs involving children 12 or younger. Beeler was fired in November as a senior district executive for the Scouts' Evansville-based Buffalo Trace Council, in which he mostly worked with troop leaders and other adults. Hogsett credited Boy Scout officials last month for assisting authorities in every sense of the word. The case against Beeler stemmed from an investigation into an overseas movie production company that sold DVDs and videos over the internet. Beeler told investigators he used his credit card to order from the company, which then emailed him online links and mailed him DVDs. He also said that some of the videos that investigators found originally had been posted on YouTube. He said that he obtained them from another website that downloaded the videos before YouTube had the chance to delete them. A Huntingburg woman was arrested after she was found passed out in her car early this morning. DuBois County Sheriff's deputies say while on regular patrol duty just before 2:30 this morning, a deputy found 28-year-old Valerie Messmer sitting in her car, which was in a ditch near the intersection of State Road 162 and Schnellville Road. Deputies say Messmer was in the driver's seat and appeared to have passed out. Messmer was transported to Memorial Hospital, where further testing revealed that she had THC, the active ingredient in marijuana, in her system. Messmer was arrested and booked into the DuBois County Security Center. She faces charges of operating while intoxicated, possession of marijuana, possession of paraphernalia, and possession of controlled substance. DuBois County Sheriff's deputies were assisted at the scene by Memorial EMS Unit 220 and the Jasper Police Department. Last night, the Jasper City Council met to discuss a rezoning ordinance, utility service board reports, and open public hearings. The council also discussed tax phase-in ordinances, also known as tax abatement. Kimball Hospitality as well as Kimball Furniture appeared before the council to ask for tax abatements for expansion of their plants. As part of the process, there is annual paperwork that needs to be filed. Their main reason for appearing last night was to show that there were some discrepancies in regards to what they intended to do in this process. The tax abatement process has the potential to gross $40 million and create 285 jobs over the life of the abatement. Jasper Mayor Terry Seitz says the process isn't automatic, but the mayor thinks Jasper is a community on the move.
It is one of the economic development tools that we have seen employed around the country, around Indiana for a long time. This is our first time really to have a review that was maybe, last year we had one too, and that company had not yet started, so they kind of had the same thing. They were delayed in their start, and we've gone through this before, and as we get good at it, that's a good sign, because it means we have companies looking at expanding, at either personal property investment, jobs investment, and investment in our community, and that's really the economic development pluses for working and living in Jasper.
Mayor Seitz says there were really no concerns with the proposed tax abatements set out by Kimball, and there will be annual reviews in the future to make sure that everything is on track with the tax phase-in ordinances. Finally tonight, we bring you the debut of our weekly video courtesy of Purdue Extension. As we move into severe weather's peak season, we present Purdue Extension's Making a Difference, the Henryville Tornado, which is a look back through video on how Purdue Extension helped with the recovery efforts in the wake of the violent tornado that ravaged Henryville, Indiana last spring.
As soon as the storm hit, I got on a virtual emergency operations center through the state and looked at the damage and was just overwhelmed with what I was getting on there, and also from what I was getting from the media reports and people emailing me. It's been a while since we've had a catastrophic tornado in Indiana like this. As president of the Indiana VOAD, my role is to help manage the volunteer, the donation issues, and help the town and the surrounding communities figure out how to handle that influx of people wanting to volunteer and the donations. We got that set up very quickly. In addition, some of the extension educators were handing out educational material to people about trying to recover from the tornado. This town's going to survive. This town's going to come back. The people of the United States are just phenomenal about helping out. I'm humbled and overwhelmed when I go back to where we're keeping the volunteers at night for lodging. These hard-working people, they care. Purdue University is totally involved in this disaster recovery, and it's going to take, typically with a tornado, it takes 6 months to 12 months to get to where we say we're back to a new normal, and we'll never actually totally recover, but we'll be here until the end. We're not going to stop disasters. They're going to happen. It's part of nature. It's part of man's interface with nature. What we can do is, as communities, be better prepared to help our communities survive. And that's why we try to set up COADs, community organizations active in disaster. And if you're a community leader, a faith-based leader, a civic leader, any of that, find out if you can start a COAD, or if you have one, and get involved and bring your resources to that COAD so they can help plan for the next disaster.
On March 2, we had devastating tornado come through the county. The folks from Purdue Extension called in, and we got Steve and you folks down here rolling. In the midst of responding, we actually began the first phase, the first step in trying to get a grasp and get our arms around recovery.
I think we're so much further along than maybe some of the other efforts, simply because of the organization that we have had.
We just simply really just resolved to the fact that, hey, we're overwhelmed. Purdue, we need help. You folks came in, kind of became the tip of the spear for us. We had many volunteers. They had not been solicited, if you will, and we had to get control of that situation.
We have been in doing debris cleanup from the very beginning in all of those counties, and then doing, starting with the rebuild now. And the effort that's been made from the very beginning is amazing. Of course, when you saw it at the beginning and everything was just torn apart, and you think, how is this ever going to get back?
So by the fact that the folks from Purdue come in and helped us, you guys were boots on the ground, and we just kind of, we didn't let you go because you were every step of the way with us, but we just kind of stepped back and said, let the people who know what the heck they're doing go do it. Life is getting back to as close to normal. Again, like I said, there's a lot of tragedy and death and injury that occurred here in this community. It's a close-knit community, but the students are back in their school.
When you go out and you drive on the roads, you start to see houses being rebuilt, you see people out again, and it's just such a joy.
Henryville is in full recovery mode. That would have probably been a drastic slowdown if not for the first 24 hours with the assistance coming in.
We feel like that's been simply because of the organization from the very beginning. Truly amazing.
Once again, the video was brought to us courtesy of Purdue Extension. Coming up after the break, a cool down is in store for Friday, that ahead in your local forecast, plus sports with Kurt Guxell, and Inform featuring DuBois County Clerk Bridget Jarboe. That's all coming up next here on 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.